All right, I'm Jalen Banks. I'm here to talk about the different grades for joint mobilization. So talk about like the force applied, the different grades. It goes basically we're gonna do 1 through 4. It's supposed to be 1 through 5, but we're only gonna go through 1 through 4. We're gonna start with the tibiofemoral joint, the metacarpophalangeal joint, and the shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint. So first we're gonna start off with the tibiofemoral. Sorry, just stepped on your J's, bro. Don't kill me. Alright, so hand positioning. You're gonna have your hands wrapped around the back of the leg in the popliteal fossa, and have your thumbs in the joint line so you can feel for that motion. So for the first one, we're gonna do grade 1, and that's small amplitude, just going in the beginning of the joint play, moving anteriorly and posteriorly. So not a large magnitude of force at all, but it'll be, of course, it'll be more than what you do at the metacarpophalangeal. So it's just small like this, small amplitude. Not too much resistance with that. The next one we do is grade 2, and that's like a large amplitude going to the middle of the joint play. So that's you kind of moving through that joint, but you're not getting to the end point. Can you feel that translation? Yeah. And you actually, with this too, as you can see, you have to apply some traction too, so you can get some of that motion. It's key. You can pull down on with your hands. He's got a pretty small leg, so I can pull down with my hands. But like a bigger athlete, you want to kind of pull down and hold it with your knees. But because, like I said, my hands are pretty big and it can fit around his leg, I can get that traction just by pulling down and pulling forward and backward. The next grade would be grade 3, and that's another large amplitude. But you're moving from the middle of the joint play to the end. So you're approaching the end of that joint play, and these are large amplitudes. This is a little bit more force. And then for the grade 4, you're doing small, but you're going all the way to the end of that joint play. So get all the way there, get the traction, anterior, and just small oscillations. And you can, as you can see, I can feel it's not a clunk, but you can feel like the ligament stopping me from going there. So that's where the most resistance is for that one. The next one we're gonna do is the metacarpophalangeal. So put your hand out for me. Hand placement. So this is the first one. This is the second one. You're gonna kind of get right there on that carpal joint, where carpals meet the where the metacarpals meet the phalange. So come here. And for grade 1, you just kind of move it like this, small amplitudes. You don't feel too much resistance, but with this, like I said, compared to the knee, you would do a smaller amount of force. For the next one, that would be grade 2. This is a larger oscillation, and you're just moving it to the middle of that end range, just in the mid range. Then the next one would be grade 3. That'll be the middle to the end, large amplitudes as well. But you're not getting all the way there. You're not getting all the way to the end of the end range, but you're approaching it. And then grade 4, yet again, small amplitudes at the end. And with this, you can also feel that restriction at the end of the joint play, but it's not as much restriction as you got with the knee, because that's a bigger surface with more restriction. All right, lay on your stomach for me. I mean, your back for me. We're gonna do the glenohumeral joint. So if that's the camera hand, I'm gonna do this arm over here. So with this one, you're just gonna have him come closer to the edge of the table for me, and you're gonna have him put his hand in your armpit for stabilization. You can see my arm, my hands, bro.
Yeah, I'll keep it so.
Yeah, and you grab the moving hand is gonna be on the proximal humerus. So basically, and then the stable hand is gonna be on the glenoid. So you grab there, first grade 1. Unless you guys see it a little bit better. Grade 1, small, in the beginning of the joint play. With this, of course, the shoulder has so many different structures in it. The shoulder has so many different structures in it that it's like so many different things that can restrict it. So of course, there's gonna be a little bit more force than what you got at the metacarpal, and I believe it's a little bit more force than at the knee as well, because you got to actually get through all those different restrictions. So there again, grade 1, small oscillations at the beginning. Grade 2, larger amplitudes, a little bit more force. This is in the middle of the joint play. Grade 3, large as well, but this is going from the middle to the end. And I can definitely feel that end range a little bit. And then grade 4, small, but you're still, to get to that end range, you gotta, of course, get a little bit more force, but just small amplitudes. This is, as well, this is actually more, like I said, this is more resistive than, to me, it feels more resistant than the knee and the metacarpal. With the metacarpal, I felt the resistance start kind of towards that end range. With the knee, I kind of felt that resistance starting to kick in a little bit in the middle, but not in the beginning. With the shoulder, with the glenohumeral joint, I felt more of a restriction as soon as I started, because the simple fact you got so many muscles like the rotator cuff, the different ligaments in there too that's stopping that motion. Make sure I got everything down. Yeah, so with the shoulder, we basically just did the anterior, posterior type movements. So kind of just moving it in that joint space. With the knee, we did anterior, posterior motions as well. And then with the metacarpal phalangeal joint, we actually did the same thing, anterior to posterior. Went over hand placement. Yeah, so that's, like I said, basically, to wrap things up, with the knee, there was a lot of resistance starting to begin in the middle of it. Not a lot of not too much force really had to be applied. With the metacarpal phalangeal, I felt most of that at the end range. There wasn't really any restriction at all. A little bit less force. And with the shoulder, I felt it straight from the get-go. Straight resistance from the get-go. So basically, I'll say the shoulder has more restriction than anything. And that'll be all.